The Warrior's Path with Elliott Danker. Brought to you by First Drop International.
Hi, I'm Elliott Danker, and welcome to The Warrior's Path. This is a podcast series in collaboration with First Drop International. And of course, each week I speak with martial artists from all walks of life. And I mean it, all walks of life, because I want to find out what exactly is The Warrior's Path. Well, today is a very special guest, a good friend of mine. He is none other than Alfonso Valencia. He is the former ambassador of El Salvador to Singapore, but now he is the founder of A3V Private Limited. Armando, hola, how are you?
Gracias, hermano. I'm very good. And, it's very good to talk about the warrior, and it's very good to mix martial art. I think we're going to have a lot of things to talk now because, I think the warrior path is very important, not just for martial art. In any aspect in your life, it's so nice. So I will give you the floor. I'm going to go with the flow. You're the leader here. You say I do.
You have gone through the warrior's path because I've seen photos of you about 1 year ago, the weight that you were at. I think it was almost 90 kilos or something like that. And you lost so much weight. It is an entire fitness journey. Tell us a little bit more about your fitness journey.
I wish that I would be 90 kilos. Actually 90 kilos was my first target when I started.
Oh,
I came to Singapore with 108 kg. So,
wow.
Yeah, now I'm 71. So I will explain you that. But, it's very good that you mentioned the warrior path, because I think in life, if we go to the main point, everybody's a warrior. If you see that if we're here, if we're alive, if we're talking, that means that we are winners. We are we won. We won the first race. We were the first one to went to the egg, and we fight. And how we came to the world too. We came fighting. If you see when you see a born, the baby is like kicking, punching. We are here to fight, But many people associate fight with violence. That's the problem, And that is very important to include the martial art. I will be very honest with you. Actually, martial art for me is it was my goal. I remember when I came to Singapore, I said, why I need to try something local, And I found very interesting guy here from El Salvador. He's a martial art teacher of Taekwondo. So I remember he told me, let's train together. But, it was not easy with 108 kilos to train. So first time, I felt so bad, I feel useless. I need to accept it, that moment in your life that you say I cannot do this. I woke up sore pain, everything. So I say I don't have the body to do that. You need to be conscious. You need to be honest with yourself. And sometimes it's very hard to accept that because, we're living in this thing everybody needs to love themselves. And it's true, everybody needs to love themselves. But, sometimes love is painful. And then you need to understand that when you look into the mirror can be even better. So I would say the best fight of a warrior is with himself or with herself. For example, in my case, I came here and I was 108. I always challenge my brain and my intellect. I have a very funny story. I started to work at the embassy as a driver 12 years ago in Russia. And I never imagined that, one day I would be the ambassador. I studied electrical engineering in my country. My country was not doing that well at that moment. So for me as a 21 years old guy, it was I need to live peace. I know that behind the sea, there is another land, there is another culture, there is another people. And, I got the chance to start to work in the embassy in Moscow. And that was my path. And it's curious. I've been 12 years living abroad. In that path, I started to work as a driver. Then I moved to the UK. I started to be more into the embassy. And, one day it's just into your mind, why I cannot be an ambassador? Why not? And then you say okay, for that I need to prepare myself. So I study, I apply for scholarships and blah, blah, blah. And finally I did it. I started to be a diplomat in Israel. Then I moved to Turkey. Now you need to say Turkey. This is the official name of Turkey. So I moved to Turkey, and one day they told me, hey, you are ready. You will be the ambassador in Singapore. And look, I'm a believer. I know that there is something above us that is always guiding your path. And for me, it was crazy because at that moment I started to work out in Israel. I started to be
Okay.
conscious about body, about like, hey,
Yeah.
we need to take care of this. I remember when my grandma all the time told me like, hey, the body is the temple of God. And I got my
Mm.
first tattoos, and my grandma was like, hey, what are you doing with the temple? And she's like, we need to decorate the temple a little bit. But then you start to be more into it, and it's like, okay, this is the temple, how it's going to be. And something
Yeah.
that I need to be honest with you, I came here and I saw people in Singapore, and when people start to tell me their age, I was like, what? Give me a second. When I start to talk to the uncles in the Grab rides and everything, and they look so healthy, they are active. So I start to understand why Singapore is a blue zone, why Singapore
Mm.
is taking care of that. And it's a lot of discipline behind, because at the beginning, when I start my path, I lost 33 kilos for my birthday. That was my target. When I become 33, I want to lose 33 kilos. And it was just a dream. But then, you start to see like step by step, something that I admire in Asia is the discipline. The
Mm.
discipline for me is easy. It's like say what you do and do what you say. Be a
Mm.
man of a word, or be a human with a word. Like don't
Mm.
lie to yourself.
Mm.
I've been there. I used to say like this Monday I start the gym. This Monday I will be. And then it's like, why Monday? Take another day and just start. Like it doesn't matter when you start, just start. And the good thing is like when you start and you start to see what is behind. That is not
Mm.
just because I look good and I have the six pack. No, no, no. It's here. I would say like clean your mind, clean your body, clean your body, clean your mind, and
Mm.
you start to find that balance in life. And it's nice in martial arts. I think I don't know here, but it's a big taboo about violence. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you are training to be violent. Oh, you will be that
Yeah.
guy that we try to fight everywhere. And you're like,
Yeah.
you know what is the best? The best war is the one that you don't fight. But you know
Yeah.
what is the best warrior? The one that is
Yeah.
ready to fight all the time. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like I know I'm learning now Muay Thai. I have here
Muay
my
Thai.
glove.
Ah.
Yeah, look, I have here my gloves now. And look, you say like, oh, about violence. You know who introduced me Muay Thai? My wife.
Who? Oh.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. So with her, I applied the Machiavelli sentences. You prefer to be love or fear? So when I saw her
Okay.
kicking, I was
Mm.
like, baby, I love you, but I'm a little bit afraid too. Can we start to do this together? So
Oh.
yeah, now it's very nice. We train with the daughters. It's amazing. It's give you discipline, give you coordination, and then to be honest, you feel good. And then
Mm.
when you know how to fight, it's not like, oh, I will try to fight with someone the first time
Yeah.
that I can. No, no, no. Is you understand what is behind. For example, in Muay Thai, I start to understand what is the history behind. There were the
Mm.
people that they were protecting the king. So it's the martial art of the eight limbs. So because they were using swords, kind of a sword. So you use your key, you use this, you use your knees, then you kick. So it's eight parts that you need to use. Then you find the coordination. Then when you need to protect it, I mean, it's a science behind, and it's
Yeah.
nice. You feel good, and it's a good exercise. It's a good cardio. I was like,
It's
after
really.
this, no, man.
No, so it's
I,
like Alfonso Valencia now is leading a family of warriors, but the war is the war with life, the war to be the best version of ourselves, because it's so easy for us to be lazy. It's so easy for us to just, it's okay, I wait till tomorrow. That is the real warrior that has to fight themselves every day.
no, yeah, why people now is taking ice bath and all this and
Mm,
that, because our body is meant to be active. Now I realize that, I don't know where I read this or I listen this, because I always say like nothing is new in this
yeah.
world. Nothing is new, so we don't have to be afraid to repeat things that make us feel better. And I don't remember in which podcast or in any books I read like use it or lose it. And I was like,
Mm,
wow, that's amazing. Use it or lose
mm,
it. And it's true because our body meant to be, but the only stress that we're putting into our body now is mentally.
Yeah.
Like the email, the notification. Now I have my Apple
Mm.
Watch together. So you are on. It's good because we are productive. But what
No.
about the body? What about the
Mm.
body? If you decide by yourself to put your body under stress in a
No.
moment, your body will get used to like, oh, okay, look. For example, you are doing chest, you are doing squats. You feel like, oh, I cannot. But your brain cannot understand. Your subconscious is like, oh, I'm in danger. I need to do this. So you feel good after that. The dopamine, the
Okay.
serotonin that your brain starts to produce. For me, after gym, give me a computer and I can work. I can start to write. And I
Mm.
say like, after Muay Thai training, I feel like, wow, tired, then your brain is good and say like that was difficult. So all the week
Yeah.
is easy for me now. Because
Yeah.
I was about to don't get punched in the face. I'm like this. Oh, I need to call. I'm stressed. So but you are deciding to
Yeah.
put your body under that stress. So your body starts to understand that it needs to be ready all the time. And then it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, kind of magic. Now I'm waking up every day at 5 a.m. 10 p.m. I'm a grandpa. I'm an uncle now, Singaporean uncle maybe. I'm like, very nice. Around 10, I'm like, goodbye, everybody. I need to sleep. But then it's like, you woke up with the light, your circadian circle is very important. We forgot about many things
Yeah.
that nature can offer, like
Mm.
vitamin D from the sun, walk on the
Mm.
grass, many small things that we took for granted, but now we're forgetting. So A3B is trying to do something related to that. Like when I got this
Yeah.
plan, I was like, okay, this is good for me, but I want to share it with the people that I love. So I shared that with my grandma because
Okay.
I saw that how people live here, how they
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to call them old because to be honest, I met people here that they are 90 years old and they are more young than me
Mm.
sometimes, and they can. It's amazing. So there, I start with my grandma. My grandma now lost 22 kilos
Oh.
because I start to explain to her like, hey, look, you need to walk, you need to be more
Yeah.
active because
Yeah.
I've been there when I was fat, and I have to say I was fat. The problem is like, oh, you were a little bit overweight. No, I was fat. There is no confusion. No. I went to do my body measure, more than 29% body fat. That is
Oh my
bad.
gosh.
And then now I'm like 6 point something percent of body fat, and you can start to see like your brain even changed that. So I explained
Mm.
that to my grandma, like, hey, look, it's step by step. Is the food is like 70% is what you put in your mouth. It's not like
Mm.
there is no magic pill, there is no magic recipe. Now people are telling me like, hey, can you give me your diet? Say, I eat everything. Yesterday I went to a birthday and I have a big piece of cake. So it's how you manage it. It should be a balance in your life.
Yes.
And then you start to be more aware of that. So A3B wants to do that. With
Okay.
A3B, we want to do that. And also, there is not a company without a product. So we're bringing a product to Singapore. It's a product, I would say, I try by myself. I
Yeah.
try by
Yeah.
myself. I always had a problem with vitamin D. It's very
Okay.
important. And usually it was just like, oh, take this supplement. But then I
Yeah.
start to read more. And it's like, I'm just taking supplement, but how is the metabolism? I'm not a doctor, but I love to
Mm.
read. How is the metabolism of vitamin D? And it
Mm.
start to be like, So with my friend, he designed a lamp. So we start to use the lamp
The lamp.
of
Okay.
vitamin D. It's a lamp of vitamin D, 7 minutes per day with the lamp,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get the vitamin D that you need. Because I understand why people doesn't like to take the sun. It's hot.
Mm.
I need to
Mm.
accept that it's hot Singapore, and the sun sometimes feel burning. So with this lamp,
Mm.
you can have it beside your bed. Now I don't have it here because I gave to my friends. The first shipment is coming next week to Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so this is the lamp we want to start to that the people can try this. They can have a try to 7 minutes per day, get the sunlight that they need. And you can see how vitamin D play a very important role in your life because your mood is better. You feel
Yeah.
more energy. And there is another thing, then you have energy to hit the gym.
Yeah.
And we need sun, like if you see the flowers, if you see the animal, I start to be curious for the dog. The dog is always going to the sun. And I'm like, why she likes to be under the sun? And then you realize that there are many things behind the vitamin D that are very important. So I would like to, as an entrepreneur, to do
Yeah.
something about health, but it's not about magic pills. It's not about magic recipe. It's about the discipline that is behind. And it's very important that you mention the warrior path. I love this name. I love the name that they choose for this because now I would confess something, and that's why I love this lamp. Because the name, when my friend told me the name of the lamp, I was like, there is no casualties, because he called it Mito Lux. Mito Lux from light. Mito
Okay.
for mitochondria from the cells. But for me, when I start my path, I took a myth. You know that in life we have archetypes. You have
Okay.
the hero, you have this. So for
Yeah,
me,
okay. Okay.
I took the path. Do you know Hercules? The
Yes.
history of the
Yes.
Hercules.
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
the 12 jobs of Hercules.
Yeah. The labors of
He has
Hercules. Yes.
the labors of Hercules.
Yes.
It's a very important if you analyze it from another perspective, not from the Disney movie. I love the Disney movie, by the way. But but then when you start to see the path of the warrior, why he
Yeah.
needs, I'm not gonna make spoiler, I'm not gonna get into the 12 labors, but just think about the first one. What is the first one? He needs to kill the lion, right? But do you remember
Yes.
that the lion cannot be
Yes.
killed with
Yeah.
weapons? No, no,
Yes.
no. So he needs to kill it with the hands.
With the hands. Yes.
Yeah, so when he kill it with the hands, that's the meaning. What is the lion there? The lion is your ego. The lion is
Mm.
your ego. So first you need
Mm.
to kill your ego, and then you can build. So when he killed the lion, then what he did? He wore the lion.
You wore it.
Okay,
Yes.
I kill my ego, but yeah, now I'm building with my ego. What I need to build? Why I had this ego? Why this ego didn't let me go through my goals in life? So it's very nice this path because you can start to see like everybody's a
Ah.
warrior in their life. You can be a
Yeah.
warrior. Look, when I was a driver, in my head, I was the best driver. For me, I was Jason Statham. I shaved my head. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I didn't have the body, but I was like, okay, I want to do something. And then when I was when I was an assistant, I was like, I'm the best assistant. Like I want to do everything good because I learned that from my mom. My mom told me
Mm.
all the time, if you do something, do it good. And
Yeah.
in my life, and I'm proud of that. I clean places. I did this. When you're a teenager, you need to get a place in your life.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about like sometime how we have the preconception of we're going to the university, and after university, a desk with AC, with coffee every
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
It's waiting for me. But no, I'm the one that starts serving coffees, and I start to understand that okay, if you like to appreciate, the bottom is the best place to start because then
Mm.
you start to know your path up. So I think like the warrior path is. I love the name, by the way. I didn't know that it's gonna be this name, and I always say like we're here to wake up more warriors because it's something that is good to share with the people that you love. Because at the end of the day, it's nothing magic. It's just people realize
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, it was not that difficult." It's just small details, small habits.
Yeah. Alfonso, I'm listening to you and I'm starting to get a sense of your own philosophy. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not afraid to tap into the inner child. When we are young, we make a deal with ourselves as children. Tap into the inner child, not
Yeah,
to be
man.
afraid to imagine and just imagine yourself as the best. Imagine the best scenario that you can and just have no fear, to push forward.
Look this. When I was
I can see
born,
it.
it's a liar. When I was born, it was a little bit difficult. So that's why sometimes complication. So
Yeah.
the doctor say, "Hey, we have a warrior here." So it's funny.
Oh.
My mom started to call me, "You are my guerrero" in Spanish all the time.
Yeah.
That means warrior, and that's why I was like, "Oh, you are my guerrero." And I remember that the doctor said, like, "Oh, this kid has a heart of lion," and you believe it, when you're a kid, if they tell you you're a liar, you're like, rah, rah, rah. And, I had problem with that. Then I have my crisis. I believe that I was Batman. It was
Okay.
hard for my family because I was going everywhere. with the antifaz and like with the robe. That's crazy.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay.
the inner child is very important. You talk
Right.
about the inner child, and sometimes we try to suppress the inner child. And the inner child is the one that has good ideas, is the one that is thinking all the time out of the box. Because
Mm.
why we need to put in a drawer that kid and then forget, I was a kid, I was a kid. Yeah. Okay. Then you need to be careful because then you can be the Peter Pan. This is the other extreme. In life is everything is a balance. So now I think, and I saw it, that some people is like, no, I love my inner child. But man, you are more than 40, like you have responsibility. So the kids also need to understand. So I think the inner child is not just to you be your inner child. For me, it's like to hug that inner child and to talk to
Okay.
that inner child and say like, hey man, what was your dream? Hey, what we are doing. And for me, something that really helped me a lot is talk to that kid again and say to that kid like, hey, are you proud of me? We are what we say. Because when you're a kid, you have dreams, and you imagine yourself with a beautiful wife in a beautiful place with a good job. I mean, this is what you manifest as a kid. But then
Okay.
what happened with the kid? Then the kid is shy. Then sometimes kids are so smart, and then maybe I think everybody find the teacher to say, "You are dumb. You are dumb. You cannot do that." And I would say like I love when people tell me you cannot do that. They told me you cannot get the six pack. Okay, give me a second. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I would do it twice and I would take pictures. So because we can do what this is it's amazing. When you have the discipline and the
Yeah.
mindset to put something in your head, you can do it. When everybody told me you never will be an ambassador because you're not coming from a rich family and this and this and that. What is your last name? And I'm like, really? I said, okay. I went the ambassador. It's so curious. I went the ambassador in the city of Lion. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So for me, it was like, it's amazing. But at some point, that feels good and everything. And then it's coming the inner child. So you know what I did, talking about the inner
Yeah.
child, is important that I wrote a letter to him.
You wrote a letter
And
to
then
your inner
he
child.
wrote me a letter.
Yeah.
I will find the letter and I will send to you. I did a letter for the inner child and from the inner child to myself. It was not that easy to do it, but trust that it's nice.
It's like a sense of reflection with your inner child. This is something that I think all of us, when we were growing up, we wrote something to our future self. And then maybe because of stress, you live in Singapore, you have to study, you have to get a good job, and we forget all of that. But you are telling me right now in your 30s that you are reflecting, and it's a good time to reflect as well. Now you are also a family man. Now that you're learning Muay Thai, you're adding martial arts into this picture. Alfonso, does it feel like it's full circle for you? It's like, okay, you've come to this point, you've done the fitness, you got the body now, you got the job that you want, you're entrepreneur, and let's remember who the lion is. Because when you were born, the doctors say, we got a lion here, a warrior here, and now the warrior is learning how to fight with Muay Thai. Do you feel that way, that full
I
circle?
love it. I love it. For me now, when I fight, I feel the adrenaline, and I'm like, whoa, I need to survive. I enter in survive mode, and it's nice because I think like when we're a kid, violence is the last resort.
Yeah,
And
yeah, of
okay,
course.
we were guys. We went to the school. You always have a bully guy. You always have the big guy that, hey, I had a guy that was like all the time, hey, give me your lunch, give me your lunch. And I remember his name, but I'm not gonna say it. It was a trauma for me, and I remember my grandma waking up every day, making the breakfast for me, putting to the school, and then I got this guy like coming every day like this, like McGregor, and say like, hey, what I have for breakfast today? And I'm like, hey, man, that's not fair. So I was saying to my grandma, please don't put me food. I feel bad to see the other guy having the food that my grandma was doing for me. And I
Yeah.
remember he was bigger than me. So one day I said to my grandma, I don't want to have food because there is a guy that's taking my food. And she told me, "Do you talk to the teacher?" And the teacher would say, "No, it's kid stuff."
Oh,
I was like, "Oh, kid stuff? Okay,
okay.
good." And then, one day I said to my grandma, yeah, the teacher knows, but, I cannot do anything and she's not doing anything. And my grandma said, okay, do whatever you want next time, like. So next time when he say like, oh, what we have for breakfast, I'm not proud of that, but I punch him on the face and say, this is the breakfast. I went to the direction. They kicked me out for a week of the school. But when the director asked me what you did, and I said, it's kid stuff. Like, I mean, it's kid stuff. You're asking me, I'm replying, he's taking my food. I'm defending my food. So I'm sorry, it's the most primitive stuff that you can do here, and yeah, I think like behind them, I became a friend of Henry. That was the name. I became a friend of Henry, and then we were sharing food. I mean, because you understand that there is no bullies, there is no kids that they have a problem. You know what I mean? There are kids that they just need to be understanding. I would say, let the kid play. Let the kid to be kid. Like they are noisy. If not what you want, get a cat. If you don't want a kid that will be like making noise, try to fight, jumping here, jumping there. It's completely different. And the bullies, I think we mentioned in one coffee that you like to do something with the bullies or something for the martial arts. I don't know in the future, but I think there is no bully. There is just kids that they need to be understand. And then you understand that, for example, in school, I always say, in school, kids are just going to learn a little bit. But the real education starts at home. The values are at home. The respect is at home. But sometimes, the problem like with some parents that you feel like they put kids in school and it's like, teacher's problem, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And the values and all the stuff. So, yeah, I think it's very important to mix in sport and especially something like martial art that required a discipline. It's very important that kids can start to learn from the beginning that this can be a discipline for the future. I always put an example. Hey, look, Batman. Batman is a businessman. Batman is a businessman. That's why when you told me that you love Batman, I'm like, me too. He's a businessman, martial arts. It's fighting against the bad guy. I mean, everybody wanted to be Batman when we were kids.
Yeah. Alfonso, brilliant story, and it's true. I believe kids should be allowed to be kids. There's no bullies when you're kids because you're kids. The problem is when you're adults and you're bullies, then I think you're a coward and you have no values. I want to talk, and just to wrap up, talk a little bit about A3V, this new venture. I love the logo. Got two beautiful lions on the side, really represent you as a warrior. So what is the plan for A3V? How are you going to launch this brand? How can people find out more about the brand and support you? Get some sunlight, get some vitamin D in their life.
Yeah, for me, it's a milestone. This is the logo. This is the baby, the A3V, the lions.
Yep.
So, for me, when I came to Singapore, I came with my mom. I came here to open the embassy. My country is changing. If you see now, if you Google El Salvador now, the country is changing. It starts to be safer. We had a problem with violence before. So, me as a teenager there in my early 20s, it was kind of difficult for me. So thanks God, I got this path of 12 years in my life to be abroad, to be working in embassies. I had the chance to work in London, and I started Russia, then UK. I lived 6 years in Israel, then 1 year in Turkey, and now 2 years in Singapore. So when I came to Singapore with my mom, for me, the first thing that was shocking is to see two kids in a bus on a Friday night around 10 p.m. I was like, what is this? Kids can take the bus in this country.
Yeah.
And, I was very focused on my career. And I said to my mom, hey, look, this is the first country that I would love to have kids. I started to think about that and say, wow, what about my career? I'm very focused in my job as an ambassador because I really feel it. I really believe what my country is doing. So for me, it was like I escaped from there. I started to work in the government. But now that the country is good, I want to represent this. And when I had the chance to open the embassy in the city of Lyon, I said, like, I'm going. It doesn't matter when, but I'm going. So I came here. We opened the embassy. But after that, I'm thinking, I went to my country with at that moment was girlfriend, now his wife. So we got married in El Salvador. So I went there with my girlfriend, now wife, and we saw another country. I never ever enjoyed so much my country. We were traveling a lot. We were going to places. So I say like, I want to open a business here. I always say like, oh look, coffee, I can do it better. Oh look, this, I can do it better. And all the time you have like that entrepreneur feeling like, oh, I can do it. I want to do it.
Yeah.
So I feel that in my country. I feel that in El Salvador and say like, okay, I want to open something in El Salvador. My wife's been living here in Singapore. And then we decide, okay, maybe Singapore, the blue zone, maybe in Singapore with A3B, we can start to work together with these kind of things. I don't know, do project with kids. At some point, it's not a business. Many people think about the money and it's like, oh, you're going to become millionaire. No. It's just like, hey, I want to have a social impact. I say I did it in the public sector and it was an amazing experience for me. But now the country is growing. I want to be an entrepreneur to help my country. So the idea of A3B, we went to my neighborhood in El Salvador. That neighborhood was not that nice 12 years ago, I had few issues there. It was very violent. I got told many times, one day I got a gun and I was like, what is this? And I said, no, but now, what is the magic? We went there with my wife and we went there and there is no graffitis anymore. Now kids are painting. Now kids have a football. They have a football field. And, I say like, how I can help, so A3B, that's the idea. With A3B is like, of course, we need to generate. We need to maintain. This is another thing. We need to maintain an office. We need to do this. We need to eat. But the idea is like everything that we generate too is going to start to help the kids there, the kids in El Salvador. So, for example, we open on Friday, and now we want to make a donation there of the football equipment. You know what is the name of the team in El Salvador? Try to guess.
I don't L something.
Los Leones, the Lions.
Oh, wow. There is no coincidence.
It's a coincidence. I was like, no. Can I be the sponsor? But I was like,
wow.
Okay, as an ambassador, I don't want to mix politics with business. So I remember that in a conference, the president of El Salvador said, like, the one that wants to make money, the government is not the place. Because, usually the corruption in the government before. So he said, like, we need entrepreneurs. And I was like, it's a beautiful time to be entrepreneur in my country, but also learn from Singapore. My idea, call me crazy, but is one day we can say that El Salvador is a blue zone too. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Why not? So this is the idea, and I will be honest with you, my target also is to work with the kids. I mean, because I feel that this is the future, the new generation. In two kind of people, I cannot find ego. And I love that.
Okay.
Old people and kids. But there are some point of life that ego start to take the lead and you're like, no. Because sometimes people are like, hey, look, what do you do? No, but it's better like this. Okay, so why are you asking me? Go and do it by yourself. Okay, send me a picture later. But kids are by like reflex. Kids see. And the problem now, I will be a little bit judgy maybe. It's like, where are the roles? Where are the roles of the kids? What they want to be in the future. Oh, I want to be like he. It's true. We want to be like someone, For example, before I came to Singapore, I wrote all the books of Lee Kuan Yew and I was like, I would love to have a coffee with this guy and just to understand his mind and talk to him and say like, hey, what are you doing? Give me your morning routine. Maybe I will start to do it and I will get some nice ideas. I don't know. Yeah. So this is the target of A3B. It's gonna be like branding consult agency.
Okay.
So it's like but everything I want to do is related to business, but business health, but in a real way. It's no magic pill. I'm not gonna tell you, oh, I will sell you my program and do this, and you're gonna lose 33 kilos. No, no, no. As a warrior, we are different warriors, and everybody has their own path, and everything is here. So that's why I say the first thing that you need to understand is like, hey, what is your goal? You just want to look good for what? You know what? I started to be in shape because I wanted to be a father. That's why I started to be in shape.
Yes.
And then I imagine myself playing with my kids outside. I want that my kids say, my dad is stronger than yours. I will love that, you know. I mean, it's like in go to train with my kid, them do math, and the best school is at home. So for that, I realized like, oh, I was like this, so I was like 108 kilos. My back will suffer. I don't know what I would do with this kid. Would be fired, so I would suffer a lot. So that's why I started to be in shape. And now I want to do something of wellness, you know, something holistic or like consultancy. I would love to do something more like with the new generation. You know where I got this idea of A3B is when they invite me to talk to the kids here in a school in Singapore. And the director of that school is a Salvadorian. So she invited me. I went to speak with the kids. And I felt so good, you know, like, and the kids were so honest. And they say, like, how you became an ambassador so young? And normally, you know, all people will be like, no, I'm not going to make that question because it's not political correct. Maybe he has some connect. You know how? Working hard with discipline. That's how I became an ambassador. And then they were like, oh, so that's nice. So what is next? And I'm like, oh, what is next? And then I'm enjoying talking to these kids. I'm like seeing to myself like, hey, I can do that. I can be also a young ambassador. And they start to feel more motivated. And then the teacher told me, wow, it was amazing how the kids interact, the question of the kids. It was very nice. So I was like, maybe to do something with the kids. So this is my target, you know, like the new generations, try to get to the new generation. Because I will be honest, I used to drink a lot, not a lot in the sense that, but now, for example, I don't drink. Sometimes I have a glass of wine, something like that with my wife. But, you know, in the Latin culture, the more you drink, the more macho you are. You know, macho is like...
manly. So,
exactly. But then for me, it's like, no, I'm just putting fat into my body, a lot of estrogen. And it's like, what I'm doing, you know, like I'm not even maybe enjoying. And I say like, sometimes alcohol is just like a social lubricant that to hang out the people around you. So, you know, I will love like kids can avoid the path of like, oh, we are free now, we can do whatever we want.
Yes.
It's not like that. It's not like that. Discipline will take you to places that you cannot imagine. And the question that really made me open the company was the question of a guy that was like, hey, you're not afraid to fail? And I said, like, I failed so many times in my life that I can do it again. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to fail because I came from there. You know, I came from there. And failing is trying, you know. I would be afraid to don't have the willing to try. This would make me afraid. But, you know, in my life, I've been trying so much. I always say, like, as Alba Edison say, like, when they say, oh, you find the way to create the light bulb. No. I found 999 ways to don't do it.
To don't do it. Yeah. Did it wrong 999 times. Yeah.
And it's like that, you know. So when this kid told me, I was like, what was my dream? And I talked to the kid again and I say, hey, brother, what was your dream when we were a kid? And say, wow, ambassador is amazing. But, you know, I studied electrical engineering in my country. At that moment, it was not that safe. So that's why I left. But now it's like, it's never too late to go back, you know. So now I will be a student in the NUS. I will study digital marketing and strategic because, you know, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur now. So I'm humble too. I don't know everything. I need to learn. So September, I'm studying in the NUS University. It's amazing to feel this feeling again that, oh, I'm a student. So, and then I want to do something with my neighborhood in El Salvador, step by step. You know, I believe in this team of the Lions. So I want to help them, you know, because I can see how they are doing something properly, you know. I went to El Salvador and I saw the kids. And when I asked the kids, what do you want? They were asking, we need a gym. We need a room with interactive games. The government is working on that. Now we have something that is called the Cubo. The Cube is a place for kids that they can go. They have PlayStation. They have a place to read. Sometimes the kids just need a safe environment to learn and to be kids. So that's the target of A3B. You know, to be honest, if you ask me the plan completely, the plan is no plan. And the plan is like we are open to any plan. That's why it's a company. So any idea, come and let's try to do something. You know, like I always say, if I will work in project, if there is a social impact, if we can generate something for the community, because you know, at the end of the day, you understand that family is important, but many families make a community. So how the community can be strong and how family can be strong. So, you know, this is the idea of A3B. And of course, I need to put the logo. I need to put the lion in the logo. That was obvious. And yeah, you know, then this is my Chinese zodiac. Yeah. So we will see. You know, I always say, like, God bless us and wait for the best. Let's see what is the next chapter in life. Now, as I told you, we will see with this lamp. I just gave the lamp to my friend now. He's trying the lamp. He texts me today in the morning. I went to play tennis. I start to feel good. And I was like, it's vitamin D. It's crucial in your life. So this is the plan.
Or how will you launch this lamp? Will there be like an event to launch the lamp? Anything like that happening?
Actually, you know, now I want to do the things. I learned something in Singapore that I love, because when someone told me like, hey, how do you met your wife? And I say, in a barbecue. And one Singaporean told me, oh, that's very organic. So I want to do this business very organic. You know, I have the lamps here. I'm not planning to sell them now because, you know, I just got 8. It's a startup, you know. It's a startup. So now we just got 8 lamps. So the idea is to start to rent these lamps because, you know, it's not worth to make an investment of more than $1,000 when you can get the session for less than $100. And 7 minutes, you are done. So probably start to work with some wellness center, some fitness center. If they start to offer this, it's a radiotherapy, but it's very easy to do it. And I've been doing that since I started the body transformation. And I can see the improve. I can see the improvement myself and in my mood and everything. I will show you where is the lamp. So this is the lamp. This is the lamp.
Yes. I get. Well, you definitely have got a big smile on your face after using that lamp.
Yeah. So if you want to try, I can send one to you. Next week they are coming, so I can send one lamp to you, and you can give it a try, and maybe then we can sparring. I know that you're.
Oh gosh, I try my best. Wow, it has been great and so inspirational listening to your story. You know, for me, the learning point is remember that inner child, listen to that inner child. Alfonso Valencia, you are a true warrior. I've been speaking with Alfonso Valencia, who's the former ambassador of El Salvador to Singapore. But watch out, he's got a new business. It's called A3V Private Limited. Gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elliott. And see you around. Thank you so much. And still fighting, man. You are doing so great. I mean, I admire your path. I know what you're doing. I know what is behind. And, you know, you're going to go big, man. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
The Warrior's Path with Elliott Danker.